If you receive an offset notice and filed a joint school district income tax return, but your spouse owes a debt, you may be eligible to be treated as a non-liable spouse. A designation as a non-liable spouse, or NLS, means that you are not responsible for paying your spouse's debt. It protects your refund from being used for this purpose. If applicable, you just need to complete the school district income tax non-liable spouse worksheet and submit it on time. The NLS worksheet for school district income tax is included with your offset letter and is also available at tax.ohio.gov/offset. Before you get started, make sure you have these items ready. Your school district tax returns, all wage and income statements like W-2s and 1099s, and a calculator. Let's now look at how to complete the non-liable spouse worksheet if you submitted a school district income tax return. Let's begin with line 1. Here, you will enter the non-liable spouse's portion of the school district tax withholding. This information will be available on your W-2s in either box 14 or box 19. You will need to attach all employer-issued W-2s. So, in this example, we have a non-liable spouse and a liable spouse. The non-liable spouse had $96.80 in Ohio school district tax withholding. On line 1 of the worksheet, you will only enter the non-liable spouse's school district tax withholdings. We found the non-liable spouse's school district tax withholding totals on his W-2s in box 19. He did not have any income from a 1099-R, so that did not need to be included. We input that total into line 1 like this. Let's now move to line 2. Enter the non-liable spouse's portion of school district estimated and extension payments. This includes the non-liable spouse's portion of estimated payments made using the OUPC, extension payments, which are also made using the OUPC, and any credit carry forward from the previous year's refund. For our example today, this line will remain at 0, so no changes are needed to the form. On line 3, you will calculate the non-liable spouse's total school district tax payments by adding lines 1 and 2 of this worksheet. Please note, if line 3 results in 0, you're not entitled to any portion of a refund. If you are using the electronic worksheet on our website, this line will be calculated for you automatically. Now on to line 4. Enter the non-liable spouse's portion of school district taxable income. Refer to the school district tax base schedule of your school district return. Remember, only enter the part of the income that belongs to the non-liable spouse. You may need to reference their individual W-2. When you add that total into the worksheet, it looks like this. For line 5, you will enter the total school district taxable income from your joint return. Refer to the tax base schedule of your school district return. If multiple school districts are listed on your return, you want to make sure you're adding together all income taxed in each school district. For this example, the taxpayers lived in an earned income school district, so they'll enter the amount from the line circled here. If we add that total to line 5, it'll look like this. Remember, this is the combined amount of taxable income from both spouses on this return. Now for line 6, divide line 4 of this worksheet by line 5. This calculation creates your school district income ratio. For this example, it is 17%. On line 7, you'll enter the total school district income tax liability from your return. If you lived in multiple school districts during the year, this amount will be the combined total tax for all school districts reported on your return. This represents the total tax for both spouses before you calculate your portion. When we add that to the worksheet, it looks like this. To get the amount for line 8, multiply the income ratio from line 6 by the total tax liability on line 7. Be sure to round your result to the nearest dollar amount. This line will be calculated automatically if you are using the electronic worksheet. Now for the final result on line 9. Subtract line 8 from line 3 of this worksheet. If line 8 is more than line 3, simply enter 0. This is the non-liable spouse's portion of the refund. If you're using the electronic worksheet, this amount will be calculated for you automatically. If this worksheet is completed correctly and submitted before the deadline on your notice, this amount will not be subject to offset. It will be refunded to you, along with any applicable interest. For more information, to download forms, or to use the electronic worksheet that does the math for you, Visit us at tax.ohio.gov/NLS.